Welcome to Focus on Health. My name is Bwari Michelle. October is the Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today in our cancer series we demystify breast cancer, which not only affects women but also men in our country. Before we see Daktari on the same, we will get a case study from a patient, but here now the feature of the day.
Before I even tell you how I started my journey, I want to say that I always call myself a success story. Okay, now going back to how it started or how I got to know or how I was diagnosed. First, I just stumbled on this thing. It's not like I was looking for anything on my body, but it just happened. I've never really gotten to know what I was doing, but I think I was stretching my hands, and then somehow I touched something on this part of me, and I told a friend of mine, Sherry, guess what? I have cancer. And she was like, how can you even think about that? I said, yeah, I felt something. Yeah. So when she tried to feel it, it wasn't there. But I was very sure it felt something. And then I remember having read somewhere that don't allow any lump or any swelling to be in your body. So that is how I stumbled on it. And I remember it was a Friday. So she gave me some pamphlets from Mater Hospital. She asked me to read, and I was like, no, I can't read. I'm not interested. But then on Saturday, I called Mater Hospital, and they told me, yeah, they run breast clinics, and that happens only on Wednesdays between 9 and 12. Then I was like, okay, I think I'll be there on Wednesday. And so I go there on Wednesday, and I'm late, and the doctor says, no, the girls at the reception tell me, the clinic is over unless you plan to come the following week. And I'm like, I can't go home. I haven't slept since Friday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was counting those days, and I was like, I haven't slept, and I'm not going back home like this. Where's the doctor? And they said the doctor is actually packing to leave. Fortunately, he still found me at the reception, and they told me the doctor is there. So I called him and said, Doc, you have to see me. And I said, you have to. Because I haven't slept for 5 days, I felt something here, and I just want to know what's happening. So I go with him to his clinic, and he says he tries to feel it. Of course, it keeps, I think, moving. It moves, it doesn't stay at the same place. And he stumbled on it somehow, and he told me, you go to the lab. And he said something that I wanted to hold on to. He told me, this could just be a swollen gland, there isn't something, because it was quite tiny. Yeah, so I went to the lab. They did what they call fine needle aspiration, FNA. And so they told me, come for your results on Wednesday, the following week now. So, when the doctors told me it was just a swollen gland, I wanted to settle on that one. But when I came on Wednesday, they told me that the results were inconclusive. So what does inconclusive mean? Okay, they told me they can't tell if I had cancer or if I didn't have, because the results were not clear. So I asked my doctor, what else? He tells me, we need to redo the same thing. Then I asked, really, do we have another option? He told me the only other option is to go for surgery. I called my sister and told her this is what is happening. I could hear her scream on the other side. I switched off my phone. I took my time to tell my mom. So yes, I'm a single mother. Things had happened in my relationship just, I think, the previous year. So it's, I was just on my own, but now I was getting support from my sis. So it wasn't easy. The journey was very difficult for me because I had lost my job. Okay, the company had closed, so I didn't have any finances. It was difficult. And that's why I'm saying I just went through the treatment by the grace of God. There are 4 friends of mine who supported me. There is Stella, there is Sherry. That friend of mine was with me when I stumbled on that. And then there was my sister and her husband. They're the ones actually who stood by me, and my mom, of course. So they're the ones who ensured every time I went for treatment, I had the medication. And we used to buy medicine like a day before, so I could buy my treatment, my medication on Wednesday. It stays in the fridge overnight. And then early in the morning, 7 o'clock or 6, I'm at Kenyatta. Because my doctor told me you can't do it at Mater. It was going to be very expensive. So I had my chemo done at Kenyatta. It wasn't a nice experience. It wasn't, going there and finding people from all walks of life, people with different kinds of cancer, And then we are queued, I remember there used to be a blue bench, and people would tell their stories, harrowing experiences. And the first time I went there, I had been told, you throw up, throw up, throw up, throw. So I was waiting for that. But I got my jab. They just used to give us a jab. How was it? They used to, yeah, something like this. And then I would go home. So I went home waiting to throw up. Remember, it was early, around 7, I think that's when I got my jab. I went home, 7, 8, 9. Oh, the whole day I didn't experience anything, but I was feeling kind of nauseous, you know. So around 6, I felt like I wanted to throw up. So I went to the bath, to the toilet, and this thing came. And it's like it was not stopping. So I knelt down, and I was holding the sink, the toilet. And my son came and told me, Mommy, apona, you know. I said, I will get well for my son. But I threw up. I felt like everything else was going to come out. It wasn't easy. But for me, that was the only time I threw up for the 6 courses I had of chemotherapy. Yeah, I went back every 21 days. My hair started sprouting after the 4th session. So I had those small hairs, you know, that hair that looks like paka, you know, small things. But when I did this, it would fall off, you know, again. You know, my hair was smooth, kipara, you know, smooth all the way, you know, the way they say Mbasi is smooth. Yeah, I was smooth like that everywhere. Every hair had fallen off. But around towards the end of the 4th session, my hair started sprouting, and it came out so beautiful, big curls, you know, it was nicely dark and big curls. And it was nice, yeah. So that is when it started growing. By the time I was finishing my 6th session of chemotherapy, my hair was on. I mean, I had my hair. I used to go for my session after every 21 days, okay? So towards the end of the 21 days of the 4th session, my hair had started sprouting. So by the 5th session, remember I'm telling you, when I did this, it would fall off. So it would still fall off because it was very, very fine and weak hair. It would still fall off, but towards, okay, by the 6th session, before now the 6th session, I had hair on my head. Very nice, black, dark, curly, thick hair. You'd have thought I had put some relax or something like blow out, you know. Very nice curls, very, very nice. Towards the end of the same year, 2005, I'm talking about December, I was good and just hit the road to live my life again. Of course, so many things had happened. Remember, now I was doing my business because they told me traveling a lot, my immunity was compromised. I would pick an infection along the way. So it slowed me down in many, many, many ways. Remember, I've told you, I didn't even have money. I was living, I mean, I was being supported by almost everybody around me. So yeah, towards the end of December, I started now picking up, you know, and getting to find, you know, like trying to get my bearing, you know, like what next? This thing has happened, and I don't want to focus on it because I have my son to take care of. I have my life also to live, and I like good life, so I have got to do something to ensure that I just maintain that. So towards the end of 2005, remember that was the year I was diagnosed. So towards the end, I started now thinking about me, you know, like what do I do? My friends were always there. The ones I was clubbing with, they would ask me, "Uko sawa leo, can we go?" I'm like, yeah, mimi niko tu sawa, let's go. I want people to know that even if I'm talking like this, the journey is not easy. It is not easy. And I'm not trying to make fun of it. It can be very, very daunting. It is, you know, there are moments I would feel lonely. There are moments I would feel alone. There are moments I would feel like I'm dying, you know, because it figured a place where I could not eat anything, especially during radiotherapy. I think something was affected in my throat. So swallowing became so difficult. Even an egg, you know, a scrambled egg, I could not swallow. My own saliva was difficult. It was difficult. Even water, you know, it was. And then people coming to see me and they are worrying me. You know, I didn't want that. But then that is, and you know, sometimes people come and make you feel like this is the end, you know, like, oh, what happened now, what will happen, you know. So there are moments like those that made me feel like, will I really make it? Will I make it? You know, it wasn't easy. It can be difficult. Let me encourage myself first. Only then will you make it easy for everybody around you, and only then will your medication maybe work for you. eat what you're supposed to eat, and struggle to eat, because at times there's just no appetite completely. And yet you need that food to build your blood cells for you to even get at the next jab. So when you don't do that, your body gets very, very weak, and you need to cleanse your body of the toxins by taking a lot of fluids, a lot of water every time. So yeah, that's what I would tell them. It's not an easy journey, but choose what it is you want. I chose life. Yeah, for the caregivers, it also takes a bit of energy, yeah, because this person is, you know, is like this 1 minute, another minute they're just awful, you know. Remember, there's so much they're also processing, and for the caregiver, it can be very tiring. Yeah. For example, I would say I want to eat bananas, you know, matoke, just boiled. And then when it is brought to me, I'm like, who said I wanted to eat this? I want something different. And I would get very irritated or irritable, highly irritable. So if someone doesn't understand this, they might feel so bad. Yeah. And what I have learned with time is that even the caregiver gets more tired than the patient. Yeah. So the caregivers try to be patient with your client or your patient, and when overwhelmed, try to talk to somebody else about what you're going through, because it can really, really be exhausting. Remember, I'm talking about my experience. Other people have had totally different experiences. There are those who throw up throughout. There are those who have running stomachs. There are those who have, you know, so many things have happened around them. So the story, let nobody use my story and say, well, unakaa hapa unafanya. It is different. Like my doctor told me, everybody responds differently, and the treatment is not the same. Okay? So just bear with your client. As much as you can, try to encourage them to occasionally go out and maybe bask. Give them what they need to take. When you're tired, because it's normal to get tired, seek help, and even seek professional support like counseling. Yeah, caregivers get really, really tired. Really big up for them. They do a good job.